One of the commonest health challenges associated with reproductive health in women is development of fibroids in their abdomen or uterus. Today, I'm going to talk to Dr. Edward Sally Tamale, the Director of Women's Hospital International and Fertility Center. He's going to shed light on the topic of fibroids. I'm down with Dr. Edward Tamale Sally. Many of you know him, and he's going to take us into this topic. Doctor, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
Nice to see you again.
Okay, Doctor, me too. Now, Doctor, when we talk about fibroids, what are fibroids?
Fibroids are tumors or lumps of meat in a woman's uterus. Most of them, they occur in the uterus. The uterus, those who don't know uterus, I can show you, can show them a picture of a uterus. That's a picture of a uterus there. A laparoscopic view of a uterus. This one here. This is the uterus, the womb, where all of us grow. This day, every human being grows in a uterus, whether it is hers or somebody's rented uterus. Now, so this uterus is, that's where, as I said, they will grow into the uterus, but it tends to have some small tumors. We are born with those small fibroids. It's like a piece of meat, like meatball. Like a seed. They start with a seed, like a seed. I'll show you a seed here. This is a seed. This is a bean seed. They actually start even smaller than this. But as with time, they become huge. And unfortunately or unfortunately, on Africa, if you took 10 women, out of African women, it occurs mainly in black people, especially beautiful ladies like you. So if I took 10 African women, I would expect 7 out of those 10 people to have fibroids.
Oh, wow.
That's how common it is. Whereas if I took Caucasian or white people, 10 out of 10, I probably would expect to only to see 1 with fibroids.
Why does it turn out that way? That's rather strange.
These are genetic disorders. I mean, inherited, genes, and that's a long story. Why are you black?
And
why somebody else
is
white? Why somebody is diabetic and not another? So some of there are certain diseases which are genetic, inherited, and I think we Africans, the way God created us, I think He wanted us to, because fibroids can give rise to problems, and therefore, there are certain diseases which affect black people and others diseases which affect white people. So that question is, unfortunately, I can't be able to answer, apart from saying we are black women, they are more prevalent in black women.
Okay. Now,
and,
okay. So what is the cause of fibroids?
As I say, the cause of fibroids, you are born with them. Like when you are born with, you've seen people with scar. Like me, I was born with this, so you are born with it. And some of the, when you are born with it, sometimes the most 7 out of 10 women who have fibroids, they don't cause any problem at all. No problem at all. No problem. The woman actually carries on having babies and so on. Without any, we don't even come to know them unless that particular woman went to do a scan and they found the fibroids. Most of them, they don't give any problem. Only 30% of women who have fibroids, they will have problems. Women who have got fibroids, 10%. So if you have a fibroid, but out of 10 women, only 1 will have severe problems, like heavy periods, heavy periods is quite a common, or a lump, a big lump. I've written a book where I indicated some women, they have a lump, they start changing dresses, and they say, look, why are you changing dresses? Are you pregnant? And then sometimes men run away from this, they run away from these women because they have a lump. They look like as if they're pregnant.
Oh dear.
So the lump is one of representation. Heavy periods is another presentation, whereby a woman loses a lot of blood. Most women, in this picture I can show, a normal woman, menstruation is usually, they use at least 3 pads, sanitary pads.
In a day?
You know, the whole, so she starts a period today, for example, she uses one pad, tomorrow pad, another day pad, that's it. So this, most women, they don't bleed a lot. Some of them, they don't even use pads because it's not heavy. So, but these days, digital women now, they tend to use, you know, pads, sanitary pads. Now, a woman who has got fibroids and bleeding a lot, she can use 10 pads a day. In other words, her menstrual cycle, she might be losing about half a liter
of blood.
Half a liter of blood every month. So continuously like this, if she's not taking iron or eating well, she'll become anemic. And some women bleed too much and they find actually they can't even go to work. It's embarrassing, and they have to stay home until 3, 4, 5 days until the blood decreases. And then, so the commonest problem is heavy periods. A lump, you see in this picture I put in this my book. This woman
looks pregnant,
and these men are running away from her because somebody is pregnant and you want to befriend a woman, she's pregnant, you know, already she's married. So these are the, sometimes fibroids can cause irregular periods depending upon where they are. And as I mentioned, there are lumps of meatballs, like they look like this. I removed many years ago a woman here, a Ugandan woman, 120 fibroids, meatballs.
Whoa.
They look like this. You scoop them out, and then she'll be okay.
Oh, wow.
But these days we see more patients, especially young ladies,
presenting with them.
Presenting with fibroids because of the diet. The diet has, the fibroids, they feed on a hormone called estrogen.
Yes.
Estrogen is produced by the ovaries in a woman's body. This one, which produces estrogen, this ovary. Now these days, a lot of young ladies, they eat junk food, creams to make them beautiful. Some of these creams, they contain estrogen. And therefore, because these fibroids feed on estrogen, if you starve them with estrogen, then they will not grow.
They shrink?
They shrink. But if you keep on adding more estrogen than what the body is supposed to do, then you increase the size. I think this is, you ladies, when you are buying creams, make sure that there's no estrogen. But estrogen is the one which actually makes your skin very soft, make you beautiful, make your lips, you know, all those things like this. But actually, if you have fibroids already in your uterus, they'll become big.
Oh, wow.
So you need to be careful what you eat. check yourself first whether you have fibroids or not. If you have fibroids, then try to minimize your diet on especially junk food, certain creams, things like that.
Okay. Now, doctor, there are times I've made to understand there are those in the inner and on the outer of the womb. Where is the exact location of the fibroids while they are in the uterus?
The uterus, as I see in this picture, the uterus is shaped like an avocado pear. So most of them, they are in the muscles. Here, see this is a muscle. Most of them, they grow inside the muscle, about 80%. And this is the body of the uterus. I have a picture here. I took it. This is the uterus. Yeah, this is a good picture. So this is the uterus. This is the vagina. This is the cervix here. These are the fallopian tubes. The ovaries are here. These are the ovaries. Now, the fibroids, they grow within the muscles in this, within the muscles. See that red thing there?
Yes.
That's where they grow. That's a common place in 80%. Others, they can grow on top of the uterus and like a pumpkin, and they can become very, very big. Others, they can grow inside. You see inside here, there's a small white thing. That's a fibroid. Fibroids which grow in the cavity where a woman menstruates. They increase the surface area, and therefore that woman tends to bleed more. Because also this fibroid has enlarged the cavity, and therefore a woman bleeds more. Menorrhagia means heavy periods, and therefore, but these days we can remove it without open surgery.
Okay.
So that's the fibroids. Men don't have fibroids, as I was telling you, but they do have a certain type of a fibroid called prostate. Men will suffer from prostate. Because also that prostate tissue, it becomes big and then it presents with problem in the men. But a woman, fibroids, as I mentioned, 7 out of 10 women on the whole world, there will be Africans, black. Among the black people, 7 out of 10, there will be no problems at all. Then the 3% or 3 out of 10, some of them will have different degrees of pathology, and so that's it.
Okay. Now, what's the difference between the fibroids and a myoma?
Those are the same thing. Myoma, we call them fibroid, we call them myoma, we call them tumors, fibroid tumors, but the meaning is the same, depending where you are and depending upon who's your teacher.
What determines and will lead to, like the picture you've shown us in the book, one going to an extreme of having 120 fibroids? I thought there is a limit to which the stomach can contain, the uterus can contain.
No, the uterus can enlarge to about 50 times. That's why when somebody becomes pregnant, the uterus is actually can enlarge to about 50 times the size of the normal. Uterus is very small, but God made it to be expandable. All these muscles, they can stretch. That's why a baby this uterus can carry, it was meant to carry one baby, but now these days we see women having twins. I have a patient here who delivered 5 babies.
In one go?
Yeah, one go, and the picture is there, you will show it. One go, 5 babies. So the uterus is really special structure. These days with doctors, we sometimes make mistakes and we overload it. When you overload it, then obviously you may end up with a miscarriage. But we take that small risk because this woman has been married 15 years and you want her to buy over the time she's lost, And instead of putting one baby here, which is supposed to be intended one baby for the uterus to carry, then we try to, because we have science, we know how to manage. If the babies are born prematurely, we can help. So this woman, that woman who carried 5 babies, she had been married for 24 years.
Oh my God.
Now she's 44. Now if she's going to have another baby every 2 years, by the time she gets 3 babies, 5 babies, to be another 10 to 15 years, she will be almost coming to 70.
Wow.
So the uterus is a special structure God made. It can expand, it can take, even I have had last year a woman who had 9 babies from Morocco. It's all we carried in uterus.
Now, how do you deal with the case of a woman like that? Because first now, we're diverting a
Those
little
are
bit.
very rare, but yeah, it happens.
So they have to be under medical watch 24/7?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Not really, but we need to, as long as you go to a good doctor and they do scan and they can monitor you, yeah, you can carry, yeah.
Now, besides surgery, because I think one of the nightmares for most of the women, when you talk about fibroids, they will automatically switch and know that this is a surgery. What other alternative treatments are there for fibroids? Because I think that's what makes women decide to stay with them, and they get into the states in which they do because they're trying to run away from surgery.
Now, one of the problems we doctors, some of us, we practitioners, we make, first of all, fibroids, not every fibroid needs surgery, and I mentioned it in this book. Not everybody needs surgery. Surgery is the last resort. A patient should have symptoms. Symptoms, in other words, heavy periods, heavy and painful periods, and they've been taking painkillers, nothing is happening to them. So it's actually the patient who tell you, look, these symptoms are so severe, doctor, I can't manage, I can't go to work, I can't sit down, I can't meet my husband because I'm bleeding too much. That's when surgery is indicated. Another form of indication is like that woman I showed you, a big lump. She doesn't have problems, no symptoms, she's eating well, she go to school, she go to work, but she said, doctor, my tummy is too big, I'm not pregnant. And this big fibroid can be pressing on some tissues like bladder, and then she keeps on going to bathroom many times, so that lump must be removed. So that's another reason, a symptom. A woman should have a symptom. But we doctors, as I was mentioning, you see a fibroid in a scan, the woman has no symptom, she's having babies normally, and then you say, doctor, then you advise the patient, let me remove it. It's like waking up a sleeping dog. If you were a sleeping lion, if you wake up a sleeping lion, you know what will happen.
True.
Huh?
True.
So don't wake up these fibroids. If they're not causing any problem, leave them. If you are Miss Uganda and your tummy is big and you have fibroids and and you don't have symptoms and you want to compete in the Miss Uganda, then you go to a doctor like me or another one, and then they will remove it. So make you do cosmetic surgery. I've made in my book, 10 Amateka Kumi, I got Dr. Sari, or 10 rules for any given doctors to follow, to advise them, please, this is how you should. A patient should have symptoms, don't cut them. How you're going, because some of us, we are not experienced, and then you complicate. Because the fibroids are very close to the fallopian tubes. If you operate, you may find you've damaged the fallopian tubes.
Okay.
And this woman cannot conceive naturally if they're damaged. And then you go into another problem of conceiving, the husband may run away from you,
The woman.
and then you end up going to do IVF, which is a bit expensive, and very few people can afford. So I think if any doctor is listening there, especially gynecologist, please make sure you have a real indication. Don't do surgery without any good reason. Any type of surgery, even circumcision. Why do you circumcise somebody? You must have a very good reason
To do it.
And so I think that's. But now these days, fibroids can be also removed if they to be removed without surgery, without cutting, like this picture. No more surgeries by cutting, traditionally, but these days we can do it through a keyhole.
You called it a keyhole?
Keyhole, yeah, laparoscopy, without cutting, so you can preserve. You don't have a scar.
Oh, okay. Now that being said, can fibroids turn cancerous?
It's very, very, very rare. In my lifetime, I've seen one case. They tend to be very rare, very rare. And those which become cancer, they are called sarcomas. It's very, very rare. Fibroids, basically, they are not cancerous.
Many women say, like, they are not able to conceive because they have fibroids. So they relate it kind of to like, maybe until after surgery, then I can be able to conceive, because they say the fibroids occupy the space.
No, that's a misnomer. I think so. If they know they have fibroids, try to conceive. Try to conceive. Once you're married, you know what to do. Don't stop until surgery is done, because even surgery can make it even worse.
Then how about the fact that some women opt to taking herbals
now
to shrink, in the belief that the herbal medications will shrink the fibroids?
Now, the Bible says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. So here in Africa, especially Uganda, Nigeria, all these places, when a woman has a problem, the first thing to do is a consultation. They go to a traditional healer. Traditional healer, he will claim that he can give medication. So he starts with herbs, and then he starts also cutting on the razor blade, and then cutting on the woman's tummy, and that's where it starts. So the woman starts drinking lots and lots of herbal medicine, gallons, jerrycans, and those jerrycans of herbs, they contain some herbs, they contain estrogen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, especially. Yeah, most herbs, they do contain estrogen, especially white beans and things like that. So you find a woman's had small fibroid. By the time you come to see a doctor, the fibroids become so big because it's been taking herbal medicine.
Oh dear.
So fibroids don't have, herbs don't have any effect on fibroids.
Wow.
The others I put in my book, they go to this traditional healer, in a kasisira. Then they take a goat, they take chicken, and this woman spends a lot of money to the traditional healer. And of course, this scars and things like that, they are not going to have any effect on the fibroids. It's just a psychological treatment. So there's no medicine right now, we know, of curing fibroids. We have a medicine which can shrink them, but when you stop that medicine, it will come back.
So the best option is to have a surgical procedure.
Yeah, if there's indication, then we need to remove them, because there's no right now. I have a patient, a traditional healer, he's cheating a lot of women in somewhere. I don't want to mention the place.
It's okay.
Yeah, but you know, he cuts some sausages, and this woman, they go into this dark room, and he puts sausages. I've even seen some very educated people from London, and those educated people, PhD, they go to that lady, and he cuts sausages, he puts them here, he tells them, close your eyes, and then the sausages drop down in their legs, and they, like, you know, and they say, look, they've come out.
Like meatballs.
Yeah, meatballs. They come out, and they believe her, and they give, she's driving a Mercedes.
Oh dear.
So you can imagine. But when they come back to me, or other doctors, you do a scan, they actually have increased.
Oh dear.
So ignorance is a key to not only medicine, but everything, even politics. If you're ignorant about things, you know, even you don't know even which college to send your kids, and you end up in a bad school, then you know.
Then you have issues.
Yeah. So fibroids at the moment, there's no medicine for fibroids, for medicine to take.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then there is, let me ask this question. I have two questions from some people who asked. One says, can the treatment of uterine fibroids improve their fertility?
Yes, the answer is yes or no. Yes, that if the fibroids, they need to be removed, yes, it will improve. We've had some success patients, you know, who have succeeded. When you remove the fibroids in the wrong place, you remove it, the woman can conceive. Yeah. And there's a testimonial about here in this book.
Okay. Okay, we just take a very short break at this time. Then when we do come back, we're still going to continue on this educative topic. It's a topic that I believe every woman should be part of and following this conversation. Okay, you're still watching You Health Chat, proudly sponsored by National Medical Stores. And of course, our topic of discussion tonight is fibroids. It is a worry and a nightmare for most women now. Even when doctor explains it more and says, like, when it comes to us, the African women, about 70%, if there are 10 women, 7 of them will surely have fibroids. But for some, they might not be harmful. Now, doctor, we get back to you. Thank you so much still again for your time. Then somebody was asking and saying fibroids block sperms from accessing one's fallopian tubes.
It's a false. It's false. Because fibroids, the sperm enter through here. You can see this. This is the uterus. Below here, this is the vagina. The sperm will enter through the cervical canal, there's a cervix, and they go through here. So the fibroids cannot prevent sperms. They're so minute, they can drive just like tadpoles, you know.
Yeah, like tadpoles.
Yeah, very tiny, very tiny. You can't, the sperms cannot, that is false information. Fibroids cannot prevent sperm from going inside.
Then is it true that fibroids negatively affect one's blood circulation, making implantation challenging?
Yes, I think that could be true, because if fibroids are growing within the cavity inside here, and there are some adhesions, tissues, so implantation is impeded. Yeah, that's why actually fibroids decrease fertility, generally speaking, because they produce some collagen tissue adhesions, but not fibroids. A lot of women, as I said, 7 out of 10 who have got fibroids, they live, they have children, they have, you know, there's no problem.
So would you be right to say that there is a connection between infertility and fibroids?
I would say yes and no. Yes, is because in the fibroids are on the wrong, they are compressing the tube, they can cause infertility. Or they produce, if the fibroids are within the endometrial cavity here and they're quite big, the woman is bleeding a lot, so most of these women, they cannot be with their husbands because they are bleeding too much, so sex becomes difficult, and the timing of having a baby is also lost because they are bleeding. And also the fibroids, if there are too many inside here, they can block the ostium where the tube opens. The tube opens in a window. This window is called ostium. So the window, if there are fibroids here, they are blocking, then that woman cannot become pregnant.
Okay. Then what are the chances? Because there's some women who say even after surgery, and they're properly assured that all is well, it's cleared, the fibroids still reoccur.
Yeah, the fibroids, as I said, they start as a small seeds, like this bean seed. Actually, all women, they are born with fibroids. Those who are going to have fibroids are born with them. They don't simply come. They become like a seed, and as you advance in age, also they come. Also, environmental factors like diet is added, because diet, if you have a lot of estrogen, then they will grow. But they grow. Some women, the fibroids are there, but they don't grow. So it varies from person to person. Why? Because of the way your diet, maybe the way we are different, all of us. So.
Okay. So doctor, you were saying, because then if you've done the surgery successfully, what leads to them reoccurring again? Has that gotten back to do with one's diet?
Now, that's a very interesting question, because the fibroids, when you are removing them, you don't remove all of them. You can't remove some very tiny ones like this. And some of them are there. You can't remove them because they're tiny. They're like seeds. Sometimes you don't even see them. You only remove the big one, like that. So as with time, those small ones you left behind, they continue to become bigger and bigger and bigger.
Oh, wow.
So once the fibroids have been removed and you're married or you want to have children, you should embark on that exercise of having children quickly. Because some of them, you can see in this sample, this is the biggest, but it all started with like a seed, like this small one. It just happened, why did this one become bigger than, so the others are so small, they're like babies following mother here. So, but when a woman gets into menopause around the age of 45, 46, they started shrinking. Why? Because when a woman goes into menopause, they are not producing estrogen. They are not producing their food. So if you starve anybody, they will die.
Okay.
Anything, even if you starve somebody without eating, with time they will die. So the fibroids, their medicine is estrogen. After the age of 45, most women, 85% of women, they go into menopause. In other words, they stop menstruating. So the fibroids, they start shrinking. So if a woman is 45, 46, and she has fibroids, knows, even if they have symptoms, I just tell them, look, let us wait, or we can even induce artificial menopause quickly so that the fibroids shrink.
Can shrink. Okay, then what's the cause of death among some of the women when they have fibroids? Do they get into excess? Is it severe bleeding? Because you get to hear the woman has passed on due to fibroids.
Now, that's a problem when a doctor is operating and is not very experienced. He hasn't prepared the patient properly. Because if the fibroids are big, you need to prepare a patient to minimize bleeding, because bleeding is the commonest cause of death. So what we do, we shrink the fibroids with some medicine, the injection called Zolidex or Liproid. There are many products, brands of this medicine. It will shrink the fibroid. So during surgery, that woman will not bleed a lot. Also the technique of when you are doing surgery, there are different techniques. You need to clamp the cervix, make sure the bleeding is not there when you're, things like that. The experience actually.
That leads to that.
Yeah, it's experience.
So how should women, or how do you think women should go about it? At what stage should a woman be curious? Do they have to first wait out for the symptoms to know that maybe I have fibroids and maybe it is severe when they finish going for the scan, or just live your life normally?
Yeah, I think if a woman finds out that she has fibroids, she needs to consult some good, experienced doctors. How do you find that information? This could be a problem because if you're ignorant, you don't know where to go, you don't know which good doctor. Because all of us doctors, we call ourselves, we are good, we are good, but not really. So the judgment is, if that person knows somebody who's had surgery, which also may be difficult to know who had surgery, because most people, they keep information very confidential. It's just a word of mouth and say, look, I have a, but most doctors will say, oh, I can handle this, I can handle this, when I can handle this, and then you go there. But that's a very difficult question to answer. And most of our African people don't read. Now, these books, we recommend what to do. If you have fibroids, what to do, where to go. Not necessarily to come to me, because tomorrow I may not be there. So what do you do? So I think I encourage women, especially educated women, to start reading. And you can prevention is better than cure. So if you follow the advice I've given, those fibroids which you may have may not give you symptoms. So you can go through a productive period, having babies and so on. So when you get to menopause, you've escaped the knife, my knife.
I like the way you put it out that you've escaped. Among the surgeries I believe you've done, besides what what people famously know you for, they say, when you say Dr. Sally, they'll say, the test tube babies. What's some of the stories you can tell in terms of conducting your surgeries for fibroids?
Actually, I'm a test tube baby doctor, however, but I had more experience on fibroids. More fibroids actually is my main before. That's why I've even written a book, fibroids. Fibroids, my main experience, my interest. Yeah, because being an African, and my mother was a midwife, and now God created me a man, but I wish I was a woman, because I have a lot of, obsession. I like women to be well, and there's something that when you have passion, for women. I don't like women to be operated on by cutting and big bad scars. We find doctors making this up and down incision like this. A beautiful lady, you do like this, like a cat, like a cow or a chicken or something. So the purpose of writing this book is for future generation doctor gynecologists, make sure that we become digital, become modern to treat women, so they don't have to have bad scars. You can even do a bikini scar, very down here, so if that lady can even go and swim without showing the scar, she can wear swimming whatever costume, and that one will not be able to be seen. So I've seen men. I remember a case where a very beautiful lady came with her husband. They're from London. And then I told her, look, this lady has fibroids, she has symptoms, we need to operate on her, and she will have children. But this, within 3 months, I discovered that this man has divorced, has not gone ahead to marry this girl because of fibroids.
Oh dear.
So, men who having, girlfriends who have got fibroids, please go ahead and marry them. Because there's a solution for it. You don't discard her because of fibroids. You don't discard people when they are because of their color. Fibroids is also another variant of something like that. Because I'm black, I can't be given a job. I'm black, I can't get married. No.
Besides the heavy bleeding among the cases, which is the commonest, what are some of the other severe symptoms you have seen with the women you have dealt with?
As I mentioned, lump and also backache, back problem. Find if the fibroid is very posterior, pushing on the spine, can cause There's a lot of discomfort.
Wow, 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 wow.
If there's a big one,
backache.
yeah.
Okay. And what are your success stories in that field and deal with fibroids?
My success story, I've removed a fibroid, 5 kilogram, 5 kilogram, like a baby.
One huge one.
Huge, yeah. I've done that one. Was a lady from Tanzania, and then she removed it, and then eventually she became pregnant.
Wow, wow.
The others, I can't remember, but there are many who succeeded. So I've never, thank God, I've never removed a uterus during my surgical practice because of bleeding. Yeah, thank God, I've not lost a patient.
In the process of the
process of surgery, yeah, actually. So I just thank God. I'm just thanking God. I'm not saying, but I thank God I've not seen a patient dying because I removed a fibroid or I've done surgery or cesarean or anything. But of course, we've seen patients who have died. I've not seen a patient dying from here because of surgery. Apart from other, clot people. Here we haven't had a patient dying. But in other places we've seen patients after surgery, they get embolism, Surgery could be after cesarean or that they occur, but not all that common.
It's not that common.
Not all that common. Not all that common.
So doctor, what's your final word to a lady who is watching you right now and is seated there quietly with their fibroids and are believing and using herbal and doing all other things, and some possibly even don't know that they do have them, and their husbands as well?
I think if you've been diagnosed that you have fibroids, come to a doctor like me or call me. I have some about 5 other gynecologists in town who I can recommend. And then you go and see them. I know them, they're quite safe. And then come for information, buy maybe a book. This book, I can also give it for free. If you come here, you ask for the book, I can give it for free. Yeah, my manager is here, he can give you a free book. We give them for free.
Okay.
But information, and then I think if your wife has a fibroids and you haven't completed your family, please, and you think the cause of an inability to have children is fibroid, don't put in your mind that actually the cause is the fibroid. Could be something else. Could be you, the man.
True.
Yeah, please come out for information. I think so. As I mentioned, the Bible says, "My people perish because of lack of knowledge."
True.
So my message to you, that fibroids are very common among especially beautiful ladies, including my wife. When we used to have children. So when you are beautiful, you men, when you are going to marry somebody, if somebody beautiful before your eyes, marry her before you take her to the sky.
Because if he takes her to the scan before then
you say, "Oh, you have fibroids," and then be like this patient I told you. They find the fibroids, the man left the woman. So, young lady.
Okay. I'm not going to re-echo it again, but my personal
last comment I want to make. My teacher in the secondary school, I will not mention his name. He recently died. But he brought his daughter to me, and she had a big fibroid. And I said, "Look, this is about 15 years ago." And then I said, "Look, if I operate on this, my teacher's daughter, supposing her uterus is, she bleeds a lot." So I made everything possible, and I removed this fibroid. Now this girl, she has 3 children.
Oh, that's nice.
3 children, and she wanted to stop.
That's
See?
nice.
So that's a good ending, I think. Yeah. So fibroids is not a big deal.
Okay. Do I need to say it again? Doctor has clearly said fibroids are not a big deal. So please find out, as opposed to coming up with all your alternative means here and there. I have seen some women resort to herbs in the hope of shrinking the fibroids. I still suggest that seek the help of a medical professional who will help you determine the best option for your concern. See you next week. Have a good evening.
You Health Chat is a show that covers a variety of health topics to help people take control of their health. It is proudly sponsored by national medical stores who are mandated to procure, store, and distribute essential medicines and medical supplies to public health facilities in Uganda.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Are you tired of high fees and slow transfer time when sending money? Look no further. Airtel Money is here to revolutionize the way you move your money. We have revised our rates, and now sending money from Airtel to other networks in Uganda, East Africa, and to the rest of the world has never been more affordable. Plus, you can trust Airtel Money to get your money.
A good school doesn't tolerate violence against children.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
Shopping needs this Christmas. Come to Capital Shoppers. We have a variety of items like gift hampers, foods, garments, cosmetics, and all sorts of drinks. Enjoy your shopping experience this festive season at affordable prices in our fully stocked branches in the following areas: in Tinder Stretcher Road, opposite Makere Business School along Port Bell Road, Duster Street opposite Nakasero Market, and Garden City on Yusuf Lule Road. At Capital Shoppers, we offer you value for your money. To all our customers and suppliers, we thank you for your continuous support. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
wanted to transport to the wrong person? Here's how to reverse it with MTN Mobile Money. Dial *165#. Select My Account. Select Initiate Reversal. You will see your last 3 transactions. Select the transaction you want to reverse. Enter your money PIN and you'll get an SMS confirmation that the transaction has been blocked from being withdrawn. And that's it. Please note, only transactions that haven't been withdrawn can be reversed.